really interesting how in doing this work that I do, of contemplation, learning about the self and reality, there can be very significant discoveries, and how those can be seen as just, oh, okay. Like no big fanfare, no big explosion. It's just, oh, all right. And this is something that I've noticed more recently, where, and I've talked about in a previous video on anger, where I noticed something about anger that I had not noticed ever before. And so now this action that I was doing is now gone. I can have something that I've been doing all my life and now it's gone. And it's just, that's interesting. But no explosion, no, wow. Now I know that I've had discoveries, especially when I started doing this, that I would have this insight and it was just amazing, and for days, for weeks, I would feel great. And I would even replay the greatest hits of how I got to that discovery, doing it over and over and just enjoying it. But that doesn't happen anymore. This could be seen as showing that these discoveries are not important or not as big as the other ones. Well, I think that's a mistake. Now, when you start doing this work, you start looking into yourself, into reality, any little thing is huge. Just the idea of, or just understanding that reality is not what we've been told, or it's not like what we've been told it is. Just that is huge if all of your life you believed it was. And so, of course, there's going to be an explosion there. And so when I started doing this, there were many of those. As time goes on, you get used to that. And so, like, even things, I'll hear things on the internet talking about corruption in certain areas of business or government, and like, this is just mind-blowing. No, I don't think so. I mean, that seems very obvious. Or you hear other things, whatever, these things that are labeled mind-blowing, and you hear about it, and okay. Because already I know that reality is not like we've been taught. So these things are not very different from me. And so there is that of when you go into reality, you're not going to be as surprised as much as you were in the beginning. I think the thing that's important is to not be chasing that feeling, because that can cause problems in itself. And I've seen myself do this, where I've been looking for that hit of the feeling of a big insight. And I know I've done this where when I saw the movie The Matrix, that affected me. I thought that was a great representation of what it would be like to wake up into that digital world where now he's seeing actual data as it is. I thought it was a great idea. And so that affected me. And so when I saw the next movie, the second one, I really wanted, and especially I remember in the third movie, wanted to have that effect. And it didn't come to me because they weren't as good, the next two movies. But almost like I was acting like it is big. And I saw myself doing that in other movies where I'm trying to force myself to have this big epiphany, but it wasn't there. And what is it that you actually want when you do this? I mean, it does feel nice to notice those things, but I've had huge changes in my life that I don't even remember when they happened. Like, I know, for example, I stopped doing negative back talk at some point, or negative self talk. So, like, I'm such a loser. I'm not good enough. Now, I know I have memories of doing that when I was younger, and I don't do that now. At some point, it stopped, and I have no memory of it. Now, something so big like that, I didn't notice that until I heard someone talk about that. If you talk to your friends like how you talk to yourself, you would have no friends. I thought, well, I don't do that. I don't do that anymore. When did it happen? When did it fall away? I don't know. I mean, what is it that makes these experiences feel good? It seems to be that we're letting go of resistance, a tension that we have. So we have this idea of what we are or what the world is. And it's basically this ball of resistance of what is. We define ourselves by how we are different from what is around us. Our personalities are how we don't accept reality. And in what ways we don't accept is how we can define our personality. So when we start to do this work, this first release is amazing. It's huge. But as we go farther down, it's in the totality of what we're doing, it's no longer this big release. But it is significant because with each step down, we're seeing things more clearly. How we act is better, more harmonious. So this is just something I was thinking about and wanted to share. So I'd like to know what you think. If you have any comments, any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Until next time.